Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So, a couple of days ago on his stream, Jankos had this little clip that kind of blew up a little bit on Reddit, on Twitter and stuff, of him giving his thoughts and opinions on the LCS teams, and more specifically, some of the bottom LCS teams. I thought this was really funny to obviously get some insight and thoughts and just some memes and trash talk and stuff from Jankos about what he thinks are maybe the differences between the LCS bottom tier teams and the LEC bottom tier teams. But I also thought that this clip sparks an interesting kind of conversation, debate, and discussion as well, which we've actually gotten some other players chiming in on, like Treatz, who is a guy who is actually played in the LEC and played in the LCS and maybe has a little bit more insight and knowledge than maybe even someone like Jankos. So in this video today, we're going to be going over the thoughts and opinions of some of these pro players. I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions as well, and hopefully be getting the thoughts and opinions of you guys as well. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick that it is that time of the video where if you have not already, please take a second and smash that like button. I would appreciate it so much. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm, helps me continue to grow my channel and my content more and more, reach more people. That would be absolutely awesome. It's one of the best and easiest ways to help support my content. If that's something that you're interested in doing. I usually aim for 100 likes. If I get 100 likes, that is like a great video for me. So check it right now. If we're under 100, hit the like for me. If we're over 100, hey, you're cool. Also subscribe, save today, and all my latest content. With that being said, let's get right into this. Jankos, what do you got for us? It's just called KEKW, but really it's Jankos' thoughts on the LCS.
I like to watch Cloud9 because of perks, right? I watch sometimes like TSM Team Liquid because that's kind of hype, right? There's like one of the two best teams. Like I wouldn't watch Golden Guardian against FlyQuest, you know? Like if you would actually have to hold me down to a chair, you would have to put a fucking something to like make my eyes open, and I would be like fucking watching this like, oh, I don't want to watch this! I don't want to watch this! So this is like the only way I can watch fucking Golden Guardians is FlyQuest or CL.
Okay, well, RIP headphone user. So, Jankos said what I think most people are thinking, but obviously in the hilarious Jankos fashion, he said it in really only a way that he can. That, yeah, you know, he likes watching Cloud9. There's perks and there's hype players. Obviously, Sven, Vulcan. Cloud9 has an interesting team. Blabber's one of the best North American players. They have a lot of exciting stuff going on. And even if you like flaming people and just for the memes and stuff, you know, you got Fudge there too. And then TSM is honestly the team over the last couple of years who's been putting up consistently the most viewers. And that's pretty crazy as well because yes, TSM right now are the defending champions, but I don't think anyone would really say they were the best team in 2020. Obviously, they ended up going 0-6 at Worlds, and really during either regular season weren't ever really considered the best team either. Maybe there was weeks here and there, but not over the course of either of those seasons. 2019, 2018, same stuff for TSM. They had not been the best team, but they've still been putting up the most viewers. If you look back to the top games, 2018, 2019, 2020, pretty much all of them, except for like finals and stuff, include TSM in them. So people do enjoy like watching them, and obviously Team Liquid has been pretty much the best North American team the last couple of years. So those have been the three teams putting up consistent high viewership for the LCS, and really all the other teams. I mean, 100 Thieves goes through some spikes here and there. Evil Geniuses has been decent recently, but most other teams can struggle to put up consistent viewers. You know, you have your CLGs, your Golden Guardians that you can't watch without having your eyes taped open apparently, or being like tied down to your chair. I just thought this was absolutely hilarious. But then it also got me thinking, is the bottom of the LCS, is this an LCS problem? Is this just a problem with leagues in general? Does the LEC have this problem as well? And in a way, I do think they do, and I think most other sports leagues in the world do. Like when I think about like the NFL or the MLB or whatever, like do I watch the bottom teams in those leagues? Like not necessarily, not unless I have a reason to, if there's a specific player or if it's just the team that I like for whatever reason. But I mean, yeah, in esports where we don't have any regional or geographical ties to teams, like, yeah, why would we watch some of these lower tier teams, especially Golden Guardians being probably the best example of that, where they have been pretty much consistently the worst team in the LCS since franchising started, which is absolutely crazy and just really disheartening. But I did want to get the opinion of Treatz, who did tweet about this. This was a week ago. He tweeted out that to him, the biggest difference of the LCS and the LEC is that the bottom 5 teams in the standings are actually good in EU. The feeling of how hard the game is in NA versus EU is such a big difference. I guess the audience can see it the split as well, but it makes the league so much more fun. Now, I want to challenge Treatz on this a little bit. Obviously, when he was in the LCS, he played on one of the top teams. He played on TSM. They had Bjergsen. They had Doublelift. They were very, very talented. They ended up winning the title in the LCS. You could make the argument that they were the best team, but for sure they were top 4 at the lowest, probably top 3 at the lowest. Obviously, you know, they did go to Worlds. They're one of our 3 representatives. And then, so obviously, yes, Treatz played with TSM, scrimmed with TSM, got to play on stage. They did have a lot of easy wins and stuff. They got to knock off the lower teams. And then Treatz goes over to SK, who are more of a middle of the pack team in the LEC. Yes, at one point they were like 3rd, but then, you know, they're starting to kind of falter down a little bit, and they're going to find themselves right in the middle of the standing. So is Treatz' experience about the bottom 5 teams in the LEC actually being good? I mean, look at these teams in the LEC. I mean, yes, do I think the LEC is a better league than the LCS? Obviously. Do I think the differences are as exaggerated as someone like Treatz is acting, or maybe some other people are acting like? You know, I really don't. Do I think that Vitality is that good of a team? You know, not really. No. Is Astralis that good of a team? Like, no, not really. And yes, some of the LCS teams are obviously not good. Golden Guardians, I think, would be the worst team out of the LEC and LCS combined. I think it wouldn't really even be that close. But then you have some teams like Immortals. It's like, they're not great, but they're decent. FlyQuest is not great, but they're decent. CLG has actually looked kind of solid recently, and they have some players that I think would be able to hold their own in the LEC. Like, I think the difference between these two leagues is a little bit exaggerated, and I think Treatz, yes, you could say you value his opinion a lot because he has played in the LCS and he has played in the LEC. But if Treatz was on one of the top teams, like, say, Rogue or, say, G2, would he have a different opinion on the bottom 5 teams in the LEC? I assume G2 thinks not very highly of the bottom 5 teams in the LEC. I assume they don't think, oh, these teams are actually good. When they've gone and played internationally, they've seen what actually good teams are. And I think Treatz is just kind of falling victim to, 1, recency bias maybe a little bit, and then also 2, being in a more difficult situation, playing on a less talented team in SK and a less relatively talented team in SK, where TSM is obviously much stronger in North America than SK is in Europe. So it can make it a little harder when all of a sudden Bjergsen isn't your mid laner. You go from Bjergsen to Blue, you go from Doublelift, you know, like, things change. Things are going to get a little bit harder. Things are going to get a little bit more difficult. Now, again, obviously, the LEC has had consistently better results internationally. They are, I consider, a better league, top to bottom. But are the differences that big? Now think back to last year where we had Mad Lions and Team Liquid, the 3 seed in the LCS and the 4 seed in the LEC, both in the play-ins at Worlds. Team Liquid got out with relative ease. They were able to make it to the group stage, and they ended up going 3-3 at Worlds and almost made it out of groups. We're 1 game away from making it out of groups at Worlds. Then you have the 4 seed from Europe, who in that very same play-in, playing in the exact same tournament, failed to even make it out of play-ins. Like, I mean, come on. This is, while yes, that is comparing the 3 seed to the 4 seed, still, that's just one spot different where Team Liquid was able to not only make it out of play-ins, but then also do well in the group stage, where Mad Lions was not even able to make it out of the play-ins. Now, yes, Mad Lions was not playing that well at the end of the season, obviously, yes, but they still did play well enough to qualify. They still beat Schalke, they still beat the other teams, so I don't know. Like, yes, G2 is great internationally. NA has not had anyone who has been able to stack up with G2. Fnatic has even been great internationally recently. And, like, really, in the history of North America, nobody's really even stacked up to what Fnatic's done. Cloud9 has come kind of close, not really, but kind of. They at least have a semifinals appearance, but nobody else. But then other than that, once you start looking at the other teams, like, the other teams don't really have much better international results in North America. They don't have much consistently better results in North America. And yes, while you could argue they're more talented, again, they play in a better league, I don't think the differences are as, as drastic as people say. And again, just like in the LCS, where if you're European, you're like, yeah, I'm not going to watch Golden Guardians play CLG. I'm not going to watch FlyQuest play Immortals. When North Americans are looking over at Europe, who the hell wants to watch Vitality play Astralis? Who wants to watch Excel play Vitality? Who wants to watch Misfits play Astralis? Like, I mean, this is just a problem that most sports leagues have, where, yes, the top teams who are the most talented, they have the biggest history, they have the biggest fan base, they have the biggest name players, they have the most superstars. They're going to be the most exciting and fun to watch. And again, I completely get where Jankos is coming from, because even me, as a North American, am I excited if I see the matchup is FlyQuest FlyQuest against Golden Guardians? Like, no, not really. I might, go get a snack. I might make a video. I might be playing on my phone or something. I'm not necessarily going to be as engaged and as, watching that game as closely and stuff. But I did think that it was just very, very funny getting Jankos' opinion here. I think it is cool that obviously he does watch some LCS games, that he does tune in to Cloud9 to watch Perks, that he does watch TSM sometimes, that he does watch Team Liquid sometimes. I think it shows that the top teams in North America do have some respect internationally. They do have some respect worldwide. I mean, we've heard for a while how guys like Bjergsen and Doublelift have had pretty global respect, and people wanting to play with them, people wanting to scrim with them, people wanting to get to know them and talk with them and root for them. So that is cool. But again, still, the LTS as a whole is a little bit of a joke, and the only way to turn this around is to get international results, to get things better. But yes, at the end of the day, is watching a 10th place team in most leagues ever going to be that exciting? I mean, I can't imagine people are too hyped to watch the 10th place team in the LCK or the 16th place team, however many teams LPL even has now, watch them play in the LPL. Like, that's just how these things go a little bit. But it is funny to meme about. It is funny to make fun of, obviously, always. And Jankos is just such an entertaining guy, such great energy, such just funny ways he makes everything and funny ways he says everything. But again, I completely agree where he's coming from. But then people are trying to turn this into like an NAEU thing, and again, I don't really know if it is that. Golden Guardians is a bad example because I do think Golden Guardians is worse. But like, is CLG that much worse than a Vitality or an Astralis? Like, no, I think those would be very, very interesting competitive games. CLG would even have a shot against those teams. Like, so I don't think the top is obviously very, very different. G2 is at a different class than any team that North America has. Rogue maybe even has an argument, but I think Cloud9 could compete with a team like Rogue. Like, I would probably say G2, then Rogue, and then maybe some of the North American teams. But like, they're in the middle. I think a lot of those teams are clumped up very, very closely. Just because EU is better at the top, just because they have better results, that doesn't mean just top to bottom every single team matched up has to be better. So I just did think that was interesting, getting a little bit of this insight from Jankos, but then also just letting you guys know that, yeah, I don't really agree with what Treatz is saying here, because again, I think he's had two different perspectives looking at the LCS and looking at the LEC. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about what Jankos and Treatz had to say? Do you enjoy watching the bottom teams in the LCS? Do you think the LCS bottom teams are a joke? Do you think it's better in Europe? Do you think it's the same? Do you not watch any bottom tier teams? You only watch the top? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!